Warning: the purpose of this video is for educational, informational, and documentary purposes only, and it's not intending to glorify, incite, or encourage illegal behavior in any way. Everything in this video has been taken from publicly available sources, and any footage used is covered under the doctrine of fair use. We have made every effort to ensure the accuracy of our sources, but I'm not responsible for content third parties publish. All of the opinions in this video are mine alone. This video contains themes of violence, death, explicit language, and gang activity, and every effort has been made to censor this video in accordance with YouTube's advertiser and community guidelines. However, if you want to see my videos with everything I can't show you on YouTube, please visit patreon.com/traplawross, where you can watch uncut versions of my videos for just $2 a month. But if you're not interested in that, just hit the subscribe button and get ready to hear one of the craziest stories ever told. Young Dolph was one of hip-hop's most beloved stars when he was brutally gunned down in 2021. But what a lot of people didn't know is that while hip-hop fans all over the world were mourning the loss of their favourite street rapper, back in his native Memphis, the street figures that depended on him when he was alive were loading up their guns and preparing to wage war in his name.
Who shot and killed young Dolph in his own hometown? This grainy photo released by police shows a person in gray pants and a dark hoodie, with gun in hand, apparently firing.
In the months and years that followed, a deadly revenge campaign would play out on the streets of Memphis, and those who loved young Dolph ruthlessly attempted to slide in his name, killing anyone who even remotely had something to do with his death. And in the wake of Dolph's murder, all eyes were on his biggest rival in the rap game, Yo Gotti, who had been embroiled in a years-long feud with Dolph, with numerous unsuccessful attempts being made on his life before Dolph was gunned down in 2021. Unfortunately for Yo Gotti, even with his biggest rival losing his life in 2021, the deadly street feud that he played a part in sparking would come back to haunt him. Just as recently as 2024, Yo Gotti's brother Big Jook would be brutally gunned down following a funeral service which they both attended.
The person killed is Anthony Mims, also known as Big Jook. Now, Big Jook is the brother of rapper Yo Gotti.
With the shooting of Jook ironically bearing the very same hallmarks of a murder attempt on Dolph in 2017 that saw 100 bullets fired into his car.
Man, young Dolph just got through performing. Get somebody laying on him, man. Sound like shot rag out here, man.
Is this all just a deadly coincidence? Or are young Dolph shooters really sliding on Yo Gotti and his crew until there's nobody left? Well, there's only one way to find out. I'm Traplaw Ross, the hip-hop investigator, and today we're taking a closer look at the deadly war for the streets of Memphis. The war between Yo Gotti and young Dolph is nothing new. In fact, I already conducted a deep investigation into this story in a previous video in 2019 before Dolph was killed. So to truly understand what's going on, let's take a quick recap and follow the key moments in the beef between Dolph and Gotti, and their respective record labels, PRE, aka Paper Route Empire, and CMG, the Collective Music Group.
Detectives looking into the possibility of bad blood between rival rappers. Several months ago in North Carolina, young Dolph's SUV was shot at 100 times. Witnesses heard the shots here in Hollywood, and nearby security video captured a person running from an SUV.
Things popped off hard for young Dolph in 2017 when he was in North Carolina. Here, Dolph was shot at reportedly over 100 times, but managed to walk away unscathed thanks to the $300,000 bulletproof SUV that he was riding in at the time. But anyway, why on earth would somebody want to shoot a rain of 100 bullets on young Dolph? Well, to truly understand that, we've got to look at Dolph's long-running feud with fellow Memphis rap legend and the best rapper for your digestive system, Yo Gotti. Many have speculated that Yo and his Collective Music Group may have had something to do with that shooting. But if you're not as plugged into the hip-hop culture as me, you may be wondering who the hell Yo Gotti is. Well, Yo Gotti, if you don't know, is another Memphis rap legend who's been grinding for over a decade, but in the past few years has had some pretty mainstream hits, including Down in the DM, FU, Rake It Up, and more recently, Put a Date on It. Now, both rappers rep Memphis, Tennessee to the fullest, and their claim to the throne of King of Memphis has been a big part of this beef from the start. However, for the record, Memphis has been the home to many kings of hip-hop over the years, including 8-Ball and MJG, as well as 3 6 Mafia's Juicy J, Project Pat, and DJ Paul, as well as Gotti and Dolph. This feud began officially in 2014 when young Dolph, still a mixtape rapper at the time, began speaking publicly about the fact that he'd turned down a record deal from Yo Gotti and his CMG label. Dolph addressed the declining of this offer in an interview with Sway.
Like, Gotti wanted me to do the, like, man, come on, bro, let's do CMG Paper Route. That's cool. I'm knocking for that. If I was him, I would have came to me like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But only thing was going to happen behind it was people like, oh, he popped off because of Gotti. You feel what I'm saying? Which I can't do that because I got too much of my own time and money invested in it.
Gotti replied to this in a Breakfast Club interview, and he sounded pretty positive about things. Now, things were quiet for the next year or so, but then in February 2016, for some reason, young Dolphin decided to get his flippers in a twist and come out and sneak diss Yo Gotti on Twitter. Now, I'm not sure what went on behind the scenes that triggered young Dolph to tweet this, but I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that the week after he had his first album, The King of Memphis, drop it. Now, naturally, this album title ruffled a few feathers in Memphis, and it would have been reasonable to think Gotti and the general public would have seen this as an attempt by young Dolph to try and take that crown as the King of Memphis. Now keep in mind that Gotti, amongst other people, were known for calling themselves the King of Memphis in their raps as well as on Gotti's own Twitter page. That same day, Yo Gotti and his CMG artist Black Youngster passed through the Breakfast Club to do an interview about Gotti's song Down in the DM hitting the charts. It's a hilarious interview where for some reason Black Youngster decides to count $200,000 in cash throughout the entire thing.
What is this?
Okay, all right, that's what I'm talking about.
You
This
about
is
to
the
print
movie
up
I'm
some
talking
money?
about.
I'm in the mood swing right now.
Yo Gotti's like, what is this guy doing? This is my artist?
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
Now, can I get a plug though?
Goodness
Can I
gracious.
get a plug? I'm gonna count 200 out
There's
real quick.
a plug
I
right
got about
here.
100. All right, what you got? Yeah, how much you got in your pocket? I got about 100.
And whilst Dolph's King of Memphis project isn't actually mentioned in this interview, it does get brought up that Yo Gotti did kickstart his career by dissing members of 3 6 Mafia.
Now, one of your first records, you were actually going at 3 6 Mafia in your first record.
My first record?
A week after that, Dolph appears on a Hot 97 interview and talks on the Gotti beef. Now, he doesn't necessarily have anything new to add, but he does say that the two aren't on speaking terms.
Okay, so have you and Yo Gotti had a conversation lately? Have you guys nothing? And you're not interested in having that conversation?
It ain't no pressure with me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like people don't understand, like everybody on the outside looking in. Yo Gotti was texting my phone for 2 years straight. What you doing, bro? What you working on, bro? Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do that. Like, it's cool, it's cool. Now, we ain't had no conversation, but if you wanted to, you know what's up. You can call me or call somebody around me, get in touch with me, but, you know, I'm gonna keep doing what I do, regardless. You know what I'm saying?
And it ain't no problem.
Nah, it ain't no problem, but it's
I'm
different though. He ain't, you know when somebody like this right here, you know what I mean? It's just like everybody else done came in contact with me like, Dolph, come on, let's do this, bro. Let's put together a joint venture. Or let me sign you. Let's do that. And I'd be like, no, I rock with you, but I can't do that. But we still cool. We still doing music. We still kicking. We still doing whatever.
Now, the following month, Yo Gotti's CMG artist and serial Twix thief, Black Youngster,
Here, my brother. We gonna keep you out of trouble, man.
Okay,
Here,
yeah,
there you go.
appreciate that.
There you go, Twix for you.
I'm gonna steal the rest of them now. I got to.
decides to throw his hat into the beef officially, calling out Dolph for his King of Memphis claims and going on Instagram and saying that he's gonna slap the shit out of him.
Hey, man, I'm gonna keep this G, bro. Dolph, you a bitch. You a soft ass. You nice ass. If you got a problem, say you got a problem. Shake ass, bitch ass. Ain't no motherfucking king of Memphis. You ain't king of South Memphis. You ain't from the city, bitch.
He proves to the world that he is really about it by pulling up at young Dolph's block with a whole bunch of goons and dicks looking like a young soldier boy.
We in Castain right now, cuz. What Dolph at, cuz? Where he at, cuz? Where he at? Where he at right now? Where he at? Where he at? Where he at?
Where you at,
Where you
dog?
at? See the
Where you
last
at, dog? Where you at, dog?
Where you at? Where you at? We in Castain right now. We just left the store. Where you at right now, dog? Where you at right now? Where you at? Where you at?
CMG, bitch.
I love Castain, but I don't with dog. Dead. We don't with dog. You dog, cuz. Yeah. Castain love me, boy. You know what's going on, boy.
For years. To be fair, this seems like pretty erratic behavior from Black Youngster, but I would like to add that he clarified why he did this in a DJ Vlad interview quite a while later, suggesting that this incident was more to do with a personal incident that he'd had with Young Dolph, as opposed to the album titling or the Yo Gotti disrespect.
It was a personal issue. You know what I'm saying? Me and homie had a personal issue. I got the phone call. Homie said that, and I'm like, damn, for real? So I ain't want to believe it. But when you turn around, so I'm like, boom, I'm like, man, them.
Yo Gotti then appears in an interview with the British First Minister of Wiggery, Tim Westwood, where he suggests that he's not really in favour of the way that Black Youngster is handling this situation.
Now, what the f is going on with Dolph, baby? What is going on with Black Youngster? What is going on, man?
I ain't no popping, man.
That is crazy, man. That video was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little misunderstanding. Ain't nothing really pop. You know, lil homie young though. You know what I'm saying? Lil homie young and wild in the streets and you know, they just move a little different. You know.
Crazy.
Yeah, he just move a little
I mean, they
different.
were popping out some machines and I'm glad Dolph just didn't turn up around the corner. I mean, King of Memphis, for us white folks, there's only one king. Sorry, dog. Sorry for us white folks.
Now, Dolph wastes absolutely no time getting even, and he immediately takes to Instagram and disses Black Youngster as well as Yo Gotti, calling them bitches, suggesting that they called the cops on him, and calling them out for dissing 3 6 Mafia early in their careers.
Hey, I've been spraying your bitch ass for years, the whole city know that. Ho Gotti, you was a bitch ass. I just got back to the city, they say you trying to put charges on me and put the police on me. You seen your little do all your talking. Talk for yourself, bitch ass. Hey, that big head Down syndrome looking motherfucker hate on everybody from the city that gets some real money. You start out hating on 3 6 and they were having Oscars. You had to hate because you were broke. That's the only way you can get attention, boy.
Now, interestingly, that same day, the rapper Trouble releases the remix for his song Ready, which features Young Thug and Young Dolph. Later that year, Black Youngster basically confirmed the fact that this diss was about him, and you can tell by looking at the lyrics. So Youngster rushed to the studio to add a diss song onto the mixtape that he was just about to release, and in that confusion, he didn't actually get a chance to clear this with Yo Gotti. So that diss track eventually came out from Black Youngster called Shake Sutton, and it ended up coming out along with a music video with a bunch of shots that were filmed that same day that Black Youngster pulled up on the block with his goons. To be honest, this was kind of a trash diss track, and nothing really happened for a few months until September, when during an interview, Black Youngster suggested that while things weren't actually squashed, he was over the beef and Yo Gotti doesn't have any problems with Dolph.
What did Yo Gotti say about Young Dolph when that happened?
Man, to be honest, I'm gonna keep it real. This something he probably wouldn't even want me to say. I'm gonna say it because we on the Brother Club, we get exclusive. No, we tell the truth. He actually liked Dolph. Like every time he ever spoke to me about Dolph, like said something, he spoke good about him. He actually like
Gotti and
like,
Dolph.
man, I swear for God, I'm not lying. If Big Homie mad, I said this, I said it is what it is. But he actually liked it, man. We ain't never had nothing against him. Like you feel what I'm saying?
They felt like you was coming at him on behalf of Gotti.
Nah,
coming at Dolph.
You must have heard of this song. Nah, we ain't never squashed it, but I ain't on it no more. I ain't studying it, you know.
And then again, a little while later in October, Youngster once again confirmed that he was over the beef.
You know, I ain't on it no more. I ain't studying it. I respect what I'm doing, how I'm getting this money. To get your money, I'm gonna get mine. You know, I ain't studying. I ain't on it no more though.
Now, things went quiet for a little bit until a few months later in February 2017, when seemingly out of nowhere, Young Dolph dropped a savage diss track called Play With Yo Bitch. This featured some pretty spicy lyrics and a cover art that all seemed to suggest that Yo Gotti's baby mama had hooked up with Young Dolph, and that Yo Gotti had found Dolph's number in her phone and got mad about it. It's also worth noting that in that song, he describes Memphis as Dolphland, which shouldn't be confused with the slightly larger Dolph World or its smaller, smellier cousin, Dolphland Paris. In the track, Dolph suggests that Yo Gotti had dissed him on his 2 Federal mixtape, which was released by Yo Gotti and his CMG artist Moneybagg Yo. Dolph also reiterates on this track that Yo Gotti only got popular from initially dissing 3 6 Mafia after he was rumored to be signing with them. Very similar to the situation between Dolph and Gotti. Gotti took to the high road and decided to respond on Twitter, just reminding the people that he was on some boss shit with Jay-Z and LA Reid and that he wasn't going to stoop to this level. A week later, on February the 7th, Dolph was at an interview at an Atlanta radio station where he elaborated on the diss and suggested that this whole thing came from one of Dolph's guys suggesting that Dolph was being sneak dissed by Yo Gotti on that 2 Federal mixtape. He also suggests that Yo Gotti encouraged Black Youngster to beef with him in order to get Black Youngster's career popping, in much the same way that Yo Gotti got his name popping from beefing with 3 6 Mafia.
Second one come. We in the car now, blazing. He like, bro, you heard this? Such and you like, man, you ain't trying to this. He like, bro, really, bro, on his last 2 tapes he put out, you like, you ain't heard it? I'm like, no. He like, bro, you gotta keep, I'm like, I don't listen to it.
Right.
So he like, listen to it, play it. I said, oh. Know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
you
he thought
going.
the coast was clear.
Right.
Know what I'm saying? Like, it really, it didn't make no noise.
Right.
You see, it
I didn't
ain't make no
know about
noise until Dolph just put this song out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He made his artists bring up Dolph's name and tie Dolph's name to his name, right? That's when everybody got, him, such and such. Nobody never knew him. How did he get it first? How did Yo Gotti get popped and get some attention?
I mean,
Nobody heard of him to win till he did 3-6 Mafia.
2 days later, Dolph elaborated further and suggested on DJ Holiday's show that he believed Yo Gotti was sneak dissing him on his previous tapes, The Art of the Hustle and Cocaine Music 9.
Man, they played. So his last 2 mixtapes, he trying to slick this Dolph.
Now, here's where the timeline gets a little bit messed up because a lot of people out there have reported that Yo Gotti responded to this Play With Your Bitch song with his own song called Don't Beef With Me. A lot of people have speculated that this was a sneak diss aimed at Dolph that came out after Dolph's diss. However, it seemed that this track was actually just a retitled version of the song Prayers, which was the last song on that Moneybagg Yo Gotti mixtape 2 Federal, which had actually come out at the end of 2016. Now, I'm not sure if this was some kind of internet troll or news outlet just looking to stoke the beef further and take an old song, retitle it and suggest that it's a new Yo Gotti diss, or whether it's just been lost in translation and this was the original sneak diss that young Dolph was really upset about. But if you go and listen to the song, it just seems like the same kind of generic diss and put downs that you would put on a song, just addressing all of your ops as opposed to anything specifically aimed at young Dolph. But regardless, Dolph kept it moving, and a little bit later that month, on February the 24th, he released the music video for Play With Your Bitch, which featured some pretty hilarious scenes, recreated conversations that him and Yo Gotti supposedly had, and he uses a Yo Gotti impersonator to appear on screen and basically cry about the fact that his baby mama is hanging out with young Dolph. It's some savagery. Also in the video, young Dolph gets one of the most comically bad massages I've ever seen. He recreates some pretty hilarious moments between him and a fictional Yo Gotti. Dolph also drinks from a laughably small bottle of lean. Basically, the bottom line is Dolph went in on Yo Gotti, and there's no way that you could imagine there wouldn't be a response to this. And boy howdy, doesn't seem like they were about any of that talking, because only 1 day after that music video dropped was the same day that young Dolph's convoy was shot up 100 times in North Carolina. This went down during the CIAA College Ball Tournament, where young Dolph was actually in the city of Charlotte, supposedly to perform at an unofficial after party at the Cameo nightclub. The official police statement says that around 6:30 p.m. on 600 block North Caldwell Street, several dozen rounds were fired from high-powered weapons at multiple vehicles, hitting them indiscriminately only 30 minutes before the final game of the CIAA tournament was scheduled to start at the Spectrum Center. Reports started coming out that Dolph was the target of this shooting, but luckily nobody was hurt because he was being driven in a $300,000 bulletproof GMC Yukon XL SUV. Nice. Charlotte Mecklenburg police said that they were exploring the possibility that people in the music industry were connected to the shooting, but interestingly, Dolph was not fazed by these 100 bullets, and he hit that stage as planned that night and made sure to perform his Yo Gotti diss track to send a message. And just 18 hours after the shooting, young Dolph tweeted, "You loose," with a laughing face. And I'm not sure whether this was his way of saying you lose, or he was just saying that the people tried to shoot him a straight loose. But either way, when somebody tries to shoot at you 100 times, it's safe to say that the block is kind of hot and you should probably keep it quiet for a while. A few weeks later, he appeared in an interview and again downplayed the shooting and refused to acknowledge Gotti's role in it.
Old news. Know what I'm saying? Like, it's old. What you talking about? I don't know what you talking about. It's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely. If it ain't nothing else, it's entertainment right now.
Then a few days after that, he was actually interviewed on TMZ, once again sidestepping questions actually about the shooting and the details of it, but once again reminding the interviewer that he was kind of glad that he'd spent $300K on that bulletproof SUV. Interestingly though, in that interview, he did still call out his #1 op, Yo Gotti. Black Youngster expressed his disappointment in Yo Gotti not responding to the beef.
I ain't gonna even lie to you. Like, I don't even like how Big Homie move. I really don't. Like, but how he moves, it got him back through his career and through his life. So I can't judge it. You know what I'm saying?
And at the end of that month, on the 31st of March, young Dolph appears on The Breakfast Club and once again downplays that shooting and suggests that the people that did it were some amateurs.
Now you and Yo Gotti, man, why can't you and Gotti just come together and get this money? Ain't gonna never happen.
What you talking about?
You put out the record, you know, you talking about his baby mom and all that stuff.
Play with your bitch.
Oh, you talking about the hardest diss song ever dropped. That's what happened when you get whoever, anybody, like apparently they know what they were doing. And you shoot 100 times and ain't no nothing shake, no nothing, nobody hit no nothing. I need to find another hobby. I need to find something else to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what y'all playing and portraying to be, whatever y'all trying to do, y'all ain't good at it.
And a day later, Young Dolph drops his new album, Bulletproof, with the first track being 100 Shots, where he addresses that whole situation that happened. He also added an extra dose of salt by making sure that he had named the track list perfectly so that the whole thing read as one big message to his ops.
I went through the whole track listing in the rumor report, 100 shots in Charlotte, but I'm bulletproof.
I was like, that don't even sound real.
And I was like, no, this is really the track listing.
But he did deny that doing this was baiting further attacks.
Do you feel like it's kind of inviting drama though? Like to name it Bulletproof is kind of like taunting, like on some
I don't even care. I don't even give a damn.
But Black Youngster was arrested in connection with this shooting a few months later in May. He was actually one of 3 men who surrendered to Charlotte police for his involvement in the shooting, eventually catching 6 counts of discharging a weapon into occupied property and felony conspiracy. Black Youngster addressed this whole situation on his mixtape and song I'm Innocent, where he addresses the issue and actually suggests that Young Dolph was basically dry snitching and led the police to him on Bulletproof. However, in Youngster's defense, those charges were eventually dropped. But that beef was still simmering on a low heat and looking pretty medium rare. But in September 26, Dolph's ops managed to score a few points, and Dolph ended up getting shot outside of a hotel in Hollywood and ending up in the hospital. Reports say that Dolph's crew were outside of a Hollywood hotel where Yo Gotti was staying, where an altercation and fight ended up happening, where reportedly Dolph was floored in the fight and then somebody pulled a gun and shot him a few times. Dolph managed to get up and flee to a nearby store and eventually was taken to hospital. Initially, fake news surfaced that Yo Gotti was being investigated as a person of interest in this shooting, though this was eventually denied by the police department. But one of Yo Gotti's affiliates, Corey McClendon, was arrested on an attempted murder charge. But not long after this, Gotti appeared on The Breakfast Club denying his involvement and showing off some of the early texts between him and Young Dolph. And eventually, Corey McClendon was released from that attempted murder charge. 2 months later, in November 2017, Dolph appeared on The Breakfast Club once again, reaffirming that the beef was over, but continuing to drop a little bit of shade on Yo Gotti.
Unfortunately, I ended that video with a quote explaining that for now, the beef between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph had died down, as both Dolph and Yo Gotti, at the time being, had focused on their music careers rather than the beef in the streets. However, unfortunately, only 2 years after recording that video, I would wake up to see the tragic news of Young Dolph's murder in 2021. But when I made my original video, it would turn out that there was a lot more going on behind the scenes that may well have contributed to the murder of Dolph, as well as the rap beef between Yo Gotti, Young Dolph, and their respective CMG and PRE crews. It would turn out that there would also be another deadly war going on in the streets of Memphis, between 2 crews known as Trula Mafia and Double R, which may well provide deeper clues as to exactly why Young Dolph was targeted in such a brutal assassination. The real story behind the music begins about 10 years ago, when Young Dolph was affiliated with a young street rapper called J Money. J Money would post pictures of Dolph visiting his hood and saying that Dolph always told him that he wanted to see him win and eat, along with posts calling Dolph's crew Paper Route Empire his family. J Money was part of a gang called Trula Mafia, from the Orange Mound neighborhood in southeastern Memphis, which borders the Castilla Heights neighborhood where Young Dolph grew up. J Money was a respected member of the Trula Mafia and was active in the streets from a young age. At just age 18, J Money was charged with the murder of another young man who was supposedly his good friend. But even that situation would seemingly not slow him down, and already later that year, J Money was again in trouble with the law, this time due to an aggravated assault charge. Aside from his presence in the streets, J Money was set to become a big name in the Memphis rap scene. He had a particularly close relationship with the Chicago drill legend Chief Keef and his Glow Gang group, with Chief Keef shouting out his Trula Mafia shooters in Memphis on his track, Shooters, with the two appearing in pictures together on social media surrounded by Chief Keef's Glow Gang crew. Another Memphis rapper that blew up from the city, NLE Chopper, would also reminisce on J Money's relationship with Chief Keef.
He messed with Memphis heavy. He messed with a guy from Memphis. A lot of people probably don't know him, J Money Trula. J Money, he was, you know what I'm saying, a big idol in Memphis.
And Chief Keef himself would also reminisce on J Money's wild reputation in the streets.
Hey, though, I was on the phone with J Money one day, right? On FaceTime, his slow ass, for he outside the window on the E-way, bro. I'll tell him for you fried, shorty. Y'all two turns, bro. He on the E-way. No. You was in the car with him? Like, oh, y'all hoes, boy. Hold up.
The relationship between Chief Keef's Glow Gang and J Money's Trula Mafia went deeper than the surface. In fact, at one point, J Money was even calling his set the Glow Gang Trula. J Money would also score an early feature with another legendary Memphis rapper by the name of Moneybagg Yo, as well as having also recorded music together with Young Dolph himself. and being seen behind the scenes with Dolph in the hood for the music video.
What you say? Ain't mine.
But interestingly, J Money was also seemingly cool with the CMG side of the rap beef in Memphis too, apparently hanging around with people like Black Youngster far before the beef between Dolph and Yo Gotti's crew had truly erupted. J Money was one of those people with such a respected reputation in the streets that he could seemingly walk the line between both sides of a serious brewing beef. However, that notoriety in the streets would also make him a target of his ops, and sadly, in 2016, J Money would be shot dead in an apparent gang-related revenge killing. J Money was a high-ranking and respected member in True La Mafia, who had deep connections with many different gangs in Memphis. His murder would allegedly cause a major power vacuum within True La Mafia, leading to internal conflicts and eventually a full divide between two factions in the gang, with some of the original True La Mafia members breaking off to start their own set titled RR, meaning Rich and Ruthless, with many of these members allegedly also having ties to the Grape Street Crips. In fact, another legendary Memphis artist, Pooh Shiesty's cousin Big Scar, real name Alexander Woods, would be one of the former True La Mafia members who was also affiliated with the Grape Street Crips, and he would eventually leave the original True La Mafia to join RR. Things would further escalate between both camps when RR member BG, aka Baby Grape, was allegedly killed by 3 True La Mafia members, C-Mode, Zay, and Go Crazy. Go Crazy, real name Carlos Lacey, would eventually go down for this murder. The deceased man, BG, was actually a close friend of Big Scar, and this incident would allegedly be the catalyst sparking a war between both groups in the streets of Memphis. Shortly after, RR would retaliate, killing Zay, one of the original True La Mafia members suspected of being involved in the hit. Following this, True La Mafia and RR would go back and forth numerous times. C-Mode would return home from jail after a separate case, sending shots at RR in a song called Send a Hit, which made himself an even bigger target, with him even naming himself as the main op. But his run as a rapper would be short-lived, and he would eventually be charged with 7 counts of attempted murder after shooting up a house twice.
People at this home on Myers put up this camera after someone shot at or near their home twice in the same week. Other people who live in this neighborhood say they feel like hostages in their own home because of the random gunfire.
That's one thing. We got the cameras and the good Lord to watch over us, so.
This man who didn't want to be identified says last week someone shot at his home, shattering the glass in this door. His wife and 3 kids, ages 5 to 17, were inside.
Go back to bed, see what's going on, make sure the kids are all right, make sure everything's okay.
He says the same people returned a week later when his kids were alone. Fortunately, no one was hurt.
Police came, they found like 5 shells over there on the side of the street that time. And then the second time, there was shells everywhere.
Police say the victims were able to identify 19-year-old Byron Walker as the shooter. He's now facing 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder.
The young guy that got arrested, I don't know him. I heard of him, but I don't know him.
Police say the drive-by shootings are connected to the murder of a rival gang member, and Walker is a suspect in that case. Court records show Walker has been arrested 3 other times since October for armed robbery and the theft of vehicles and weapons. 2 of the cases, though, have been dismissed.
Give him a slap on the wrist and let him right back out.
He's hoping that doesn't happen this time and says something has to be done to stop the crime.
They need some wake-up calls. To tell you the truth, I think these young folks out here need some wake-up calls.
In Southeast Memphis, Melissa Moon, WREG, News Channel 3.
Meanwhile, D-Money, the brother of J-Money, would also be shot dead in May 2020, causing yet more friction between these warring groups. After D-Money's murder, rumours would spread that he was allegedly killed by the artist named Big Unk, formerly known as Uncle Danny. Big Unk is allegedly affiliated with the RR crew as well as Yo Gotti's CMG crew. He was a prominent street rapper from Memphis, known for showing off serious weapons in his music video. For example, seen here surrounded by goons and a whole lot of heavy weapons for the terrifying music video for a track called Play Dead, as well as a collaboration with Big Scar called Go Monkey, where him and his goons show off an arsenal of weapons looking like something straight out of Call of Duty. After D-Money's death and the rumours that he was involved, Big Unk, real name Daniel Banks, would simply post 3 laughing emojis on his Facebook, as well as reposting a cryptic message about some things being better left unsaid, along with a shushing emoji. Later that year, CEO Jizzle, another allegedly RR affiliated rapper, would rap on his song Rich and Ruthless. If you diss 23, swear to God, it's gonna be RIP. You ain't hear what happened to last dude, he got left on Trig Street. This was seemingly a diss aimed towards D-Money, who had dissed a dead RR member called 23 just a few months before he was killed. In fact, just a few days after dissing 23, D-Money would post a text message on Facebook that he had apparently received, where someone seemingly threatens to kill D-Money in his car swearing to do it on Grape. Now, this is where Young Dolph enters the picture. Young Dolph would actually sign RR members Big Unk to his Paper Route Empire label despite his former connection to Yo Gotti's CMG. And in signing Big Unk, Young Dolph had inadvertently picked sides in this separate beef that had brewed between True La Mafia and RR. And this would cause True La Mafia to side with Yo Gotti's CMG group and Big Unk's RR crew to side with the Paper Route Empire of Young Dolph. Now, some fans would criticize Young Dolph at this time, since he had been so close to J Money back in the day, with many being confused as to why he had chosen to sign the man who had allegedly murdered his brother. But regardless of the reasons, apparently when Young Dolph chose to sign Big Unk, he effectively made himself a prime target for True La Mafia, with Big Unk's street ties essentially bringing a younger generation of Memphis gang members to the forefront of this industry feud that had been going on between Young Dolph and PRE and Yo Gotti and his CMG label. And so, it would seemingly turn out that this street feud and its connections to the complicated web of relationships in the music industry would ultimately cost Young Dolph his life. On November the 17th, 2021, Young Dolph would visit the Makeda's Cookies bakery located near the Memphis International Airport, driving there in his camouflage-wrapped Corvette. Young Dolph was known to frequent this bakery and would often share his visits on social media. The store itself would even ask Dolph for a promo after his many visits, with Dolph sharing his public approval for this particular cookie spot.
Say it again. Say you came to get some what?
All I came for to get some
Makita cookies.
Get the sign.
Get the sign.
Get the sign. Come back around here.
Come back around there.
Yes, these right here.
What you got? Chocolate chip. Them hot.
Straight out the oven.
Just for you. Appreciate you, baby. Be safe.
In fact, Facebook users would later comment their disapproval of Makeda's Cookies sharing this, suggesting that letting the world know that Dolph frequented this bakery may well have been a fatal mistake, which contributed to his murder. On his way to Makeda's Cookies, Young Dolph would actually stop at a gas station where his final moments would be captured by a fan, and potentially giving away his location. At approximately 12:20 PM, two masked men would pull up to Makeda's in a white Mercedes, almost immediately following Young Dolph, who had parked and entered the store only moments earlier. In the security camera footage that the police would later share stills of to the media, the shooters can actually be seen running past Young Dolph's Corvette, armed with automatic rifles, which they then fired indiscriminately into the bakery, hitting Dolph 22 times. And unlike the various attempts on Young Dolph's life in years prior, sadly, this one would indeed prove fatal, with the autopsy report showing that Dolph had suffered deadly gunshot wounds to his head, torso, and neck. And a shocking video of Young Dolph laying on the ground after the assassination would circulate on social media, but is far too graphic to show you here on YouTube.
Oh my God, y'all. They say Dolph dead, y'all. They say Dolph dead. Right up here on Airways and Kitchen. I'm talking about I was just standing out here just seeing this. You talking about back up now. Damn. Ooh wee. I never seen no like this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. They say this Dolph. They say this Dolph. They say this Dolph.
After the murder, Makeda's Cookies would decide not to reopen, and the storefront would turn into a memorial for Young Dolph.
Whether it's a spray paint bottle or staple gun in hand, Jeremiah Taylor is a man on a mission each day at this memorial honoring slain Memphis rapper Young Dolph on Airways Boulevard.
He was a legend, he was a king, so his stuff deserves to be treated as such.
For Taylor, the persistence is personal. He, like Dolph, grew up in the Castalia Heights neighborhood, went to Hamilton High, and met the rapper several times.
It was very hard. It started off as me trying to get myself out of a rut. This really put me in a bad situation mentally or whatever. And so just for my mental health, it started out, all right, let me get to doing something positive.
So starting about 3 days after Dolph's death, inside Makeda's Cookies, outside the store, Taylor, along with local activist Frank Gotti, make daily trips to organize, beautify, and freshen up this growing tribute.
Unfortunately, the store itself would quickly become a hotspot for violence in the aftermath of Dolph's murder. Shots would be fired on camera at the memorial only a day after the murder. And even the man who looked after the memorial would end up being shot dead soon after. Fans online would create other kinds of tributes like collages of all the times that Dolph gave back to his supporters and the people of Memphis. Meanwhile, Dolph's murder would spark numerous rumors of the involvement of Dolph's music industry ops, and speculation would swirl, predicting retaliation attacks against people like the relatives of Yo Gotti and Black Youngster. Now, these rumors would initially turn out to be false, but while fan speculation about who might have been involved played out online, a few days later, the police would make progress in the formal investigation, locating the white Mercedes that had been used in the murder in the Orange Mound neighborhood in South Memphis. And only a few days after that, a man was actually murdered near the very location where the car used in the murder of Dolph was found. The Memphis police also soon found out that the white Mercedes had been used in another deadly shooting not long before Dolph's murder. As this information trickled out to the public, fascinated fans and internet sleuths would continue to speculate on exactly who was responsible for the killing of Dolph. About a month after Dolph's murder, the police would begin to move in on the alleged perpetrators. A man named Cornelius Smith was arrested in December 2021, but the news of the arrest wouldn't break out until January 2022, when he was indicted on the murder of Dolph, amongst other related charges. In the same indictment, also named Justin Johnson, better known in Memphis as the rapper Straight Drop. Johnson was arrested on January the 11th, 2022 in Indiana as a suspect in Dolph's murder. But just a few days before his arrest, Straight Drop had actually posted on social media that he would be turning himself in on the 10th. But instead of turning himself in, he would end up putting out a new song called Trackhawk. The lyrics are ambiguous, including numerous highly questionable bars that seemingly hinted at his involvement in a recent murder. Moreover, before that, on the 22nd of November 2021, only a few days after Young Dolph's murder, Straight Drop had actually dropped a music video for a song titled Stepped On, where he could actually be seen wearing a pendant of Young Dolph's PRE Paper Route Empire label hanging from his belt, with some suggesting that this may have been a disrespectful nod, suggesting that Young Dolph may have been some sort of notch in his belt. In the same video, Straight Drop can actually be seen with a man named Joshua Taylor. And in February 2022, the police would announce two more persons of interest in the case, Divine Burns and Taylor, who was also known as CEO Teasy.
First at 5, the Memphis Police Department announced today 2 new men have been named persons of interest in the Young Dolph murder case. The first is Devin Burns. Burns has an active warrant out for aggravated assault and theft, which are unrelated to this case. The other man is Joshua Taylor. Memphis police are looking for both of these men and offering a $2,000 reward for each arrest.
At least 3 of the 4 people mentioned, Johnson, Burns, and Taylor, have a strong connection to True La Mafia and can be seen following members publicly on their Instagrams, as well as wearing free Straight Drop shirts on social media and in music videos. CEO Teasy had even been seen in pictures on J Money's original Instagram account, with all of these members seemingly appearing together in numerous pictures and music videos. However, strangely, before the murder, Straight Drop himself had also been pictured around Young Dolph. But this was seemingly before True La Mafia had split into 2, with Double R taking Dolph's PRE side and the True La Mafia members remaining taking sides with CMG. Now, there's been intense debate as to whether Straight Drop himself had officially been affiliated with Yo Gotti's CMG label before Dolph's murder. Now, he wasn't tagged in a post by Yo Gotti's brother Big Jook, which named everybody on the label, but he was being followed by Jook on Instagram. However, Straight Drop may well have truly crossed the line in self-incrimination after it would emerge that he had actually recorded a music video in front of evidence used in the murder case, with the white Mercedes that was seen in CCTV from Dolph's murder being seen parked outside the abandoned home on Bradley Street just days after Dolph's murder. And shockingly, in a now deleted music video that Straight Drop released called Going Straight In, the backdrop for that music video would indeed be the exact same house where that getaway vehicle was found at, and that same house where somebody was killed soon after the murder of Dolph. The video was posted on November the 21st, 2021, only a few days after Young Dolph's murder.
The car was found outside this abandoned home on Bradley Street days after the killing in late November. It's the same home seen here in this music video featuring Young Dolph's accused killer, Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Drop.
And additionally, in August 2022, the police would also indict a man named Treon Ingram for the deadly shooting which preceded Dolph's murder that was also connected to that white Mercedes.
Meanwhile, a county away, developments in another case that has a connection to Young Dolph's murder. A grand jury in Tipton County indicted one of 2 suspects police say is responsible for a November 12, 2021 shooting of 2 women in Covington. Investigators say they found Treon Ingram with the weapon connected to the shooting. They say a white Mercedes used in the shooting in Covington is the same car used in Young Dolph's death. We learned early on A lot of people were in the car between the time it was carjacked last November from a gas station on Kirby Parkway to the November 12th Covington shooting and the November 17th shooting of young Dolph.
Later in 2022, Hernandez Govan was arrested on November the 10th. Govan was the first to also be charged with conspiracy to commit Dolph's murder. Soon after this, Jamarcus Johnson, brother of Justin Johnson, also turned himself in and was charged with the conspiracy to kill young Dolph.
Jamarcus is being charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and although more charges may be coming, MPD says Johnson is from Memphis. We checked the system, and under the spelling of the name used in his booking, we found only one previous charge linked to that name. It's a misdemeanor marijuana possession charge that was later dismissed. This fourth suspect has the same last name as another suspect in this case, Jermaine Johnson, also known as Straight Drop, but MPD would not confirm if they are related.
The indictment against the four, Smith, Straight Drop, and his brother, as well as Govan, would specify their roles in the murder conspiracy, with Govan allegedly being the one who solicited Straight Drop and Smith to shoot Dolph, with Straight Drop's brother helping him to hide and escape after the murder. According to news outlets, Govan and all the shooters actually lived close to each other in the same neighborhood where that white Mercedes was found.
Court records show 43-year-old Hernandez Govan, who was just indicted in the rap star slaying, along with Johnson and Cornelius Smith, once lived just a few houses down. Neighbors fearing for their lives told us off camera he grew up on the street. A possible connection linking the suspects, as District Attorney Steve Mulroy says Govan asked for young Dolph to be murdered.
And interestingly, in the indictment, the beginning date of the conspiracy to murder Dolph is marked as June 1st, 2021, months before the actual murder. Interestingly, as some Reddit detectives have pointed out, only a few days before, Dolph would actually post on his Instagram account welcoming Big Unc, who had allegedly killed D Money from True La Mafia, to his Paper Route Empire label, with Reddit users suggesting that perhaps the conspiracy to murder young Dolph had been set into motion as soon as Dolph had publicly endorsed Big Unc. Meanwhile, being locked up didn't seem to stop Straight Drop from dropping more music. And on the one-year anniversary of Dolph's death, he released the jail phone recorded song No Statements. But despite the title of the song being No Statements, Paper Route Empire artists would respond to a news outlet about the song, suggesting that someone indeed was giving statements based on the number of arrests that had been happening. The news would also report that the third man arrested in connection to Dolph's murder, Hernandez Govan, is actually the father of a female rapper who went by the name Lotta Cash Desto. Lotta Cash Desto was tragically killed in September 2022, raising questions about whether or not this murder might have been connected to the murder of young Dolph too.
Govan's daughter, she was also a rapper, but she was killed in Houston in September.
Yeah, she went by Lotta Cash Desto, but her real name, Destiny Govan. Houston police say the 25-year-old was shot and killed in Houston September 24th, early that morning. Investigators say Govan and her friend were in their vehicle, stopped behind a vehicle at a traffic light. Police say two men got out of the vehicle and started shooting at the women. We're told the passenger was also shot but survived her injuries. Christian Williams was charged with her murder. About a month after the murder, Hernandez Govan posted on Facebook, "I think I cursed you, Destiny, with my lifestyle. I apologize, baby." As we reported earlier, Govan has dozens of criminal charges in his past, ranging from drug possession to aggravated assault.
It would seem that based on social media posts, that Desto was, or at least had been, indeed in some ways associated with the True La Mafia, and even had a song together with J Money himself all the way back in 2015. Now, Desto's alleged killers, Jeremiah Smith and Christian Williams, were arrested and charged in early 2023, but their possible connection to the events in Memphis is still unclear. However, according to the internet, her death may well have been a completely unrelated incident that rather had to do with her own actions in Houston, where she was living at the time, rather than Dolph. But regardless, the bloody retaliations following the murder of young Dolph were far from over. In June 2023, one of the persons of interest who was not charged in relation to Dolph's murder, Joshua Taylor, aka CEO Teasy, was suddenly also shot and killed. Reddit detectives had noted how Dolph's friends had been driving around the Orange Mound neighborhood where Teasy was killed not long before the shooting.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't none of those late night, middle of the daytime. Stop that. Who ain't spinning? Talking about who ain't nothing to spin on. Talking about ain't
no cap. Put your on buns, on guns, on the head. Stupid.
This I know luck and I didn't hit the lotto.
Meanwhile, both Cornelius Smith and Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, are set to go on trial in March 2024 after pleading not guilty to all charges. Fans have also noted that Straight Drop allegedly hired a lawyer that has connections to Yo Gotti's crew CMG, raising yet more rumours that True La Mafia and CMG might have both been involved together in Young Dolph's murder. Govan, on the other hand, was released on bond in May 2023, apparently due to medical reasons, while Straight Drop's brother, Jamarcus Johnson, actually accepted a plea deal admitting to guilt on accessory to murder charges in June 2023.
One of the 4 men charged in the murder of Memphis rapper Young Dolph became the first to take a plea in his case after Jamarcus Johnson pleaded guilty to 3 conspiracy charges this morning.
Action News 5's Sydney Gray was in the courtroom for that announcement. She has more from Johnson's attorney and state prosecutors.
A range 1 offender, you understand that?
Jamarcus Johnson could spend the next 6 years in prison for his admitted involvement in the murder of Memphis rapper Young Dolph. Friday, he pleaded guilty to 3 counts of conspiracy after the fact.
With regard to Jamarcus Johnson, as we announced in court, he had no role in the murder of Dolph before it happened. He had no role in the murder of Dolph when it happened.
But prosecutors say he conspired after the fact by helping his half-brother, Justin Johnson, one of the accused shooters.
We had a conference call with the family yesterday. They understand what this is about, and they're encouraged by the progress in litigation, and ultimately one day they want to see a trial of this thing, and they know this is a step toward that.
Prosecutors say Jamarcus used Justin's cell phone for 2 purposes: to deceive Justin's parole officer into believing he was still in Memphis, and to communicate with Cornelius Smith, another accused shooter in the case. We heard from Johnson's attorney, Josh Corman.
It was very important for Jamarcus and his family, for everyone to understand that he had nothing to do whatsoever with the murder. He had no knowledge of the murder before it happened. He certainly wasn't in conspiring with anyone to plan a murder, didn't know the murder had happened, obviously until weeks later, learned about it through social media.
Johnson could be required to testify against his brother as part of his plea deal, but Corman says Jamarcus is eager to get back with family.
Here's a kid who had never been in trouble before, has no criminal record whatsoever, and then you get locked up and you're in protective custody, which is pretty much like being in isolation for the last 7 months. So you can imagine what that does to your mind and everything else.
Sydney Gray, Action News 5.
And Johnson may actually be asked to testify against the others in the case during the trial, but at this stage, we don't know whether or not he's flipped, or just trying to avoid a lengthy sentence that he might get if he loses trial. Sadly, during the investigation, some members of the public have also attempted to pin Dolph's murder on the owners of Makeda's Cookies, as a fake wanted poster for the owner was even created and circulated online after the killing. There have also been more shootings that have been rumoured to be tied to Young Dolph's death that may or may not have anything to do with it. One such shooting happened at Dolph's old hood in Castilla Heights in July 2023, when a 53-year-old man was shot and killed.
A man is now dead after a shooting happened on Castilla Heights this morning. Officers responded to the scene at 1 a.m. to the 800 block of Cloverdale Drive and found a 53-year-old man dead at the scene. Police also say that 2 men who appeared to be the ones responsible left the scene. Anyone who has any details, they are encouraged to call Crime Stoppers also at 901-528-CASH.
With some believing this to be a gang-related shooting between True La Mafia and Double R.
Late last night in Castilla Heights, Young Dolph hood, they call it Dolph Land, where some pre-niggas be at, Double R. They saying 2 people slid over there, just start shooting up everything. A 58-year-old man lost his life, but he was not the intended target.
But it would later turn out that the 53-year-old was in fact likely the intended target of the shooting, reportedly a carjacking gone wrong, according to video evidence.
New information this evening, 2 people have been arrested in a deadly Castilla Heights shooting. Memphis police say 20-year-old Danielle Robinson and a 17-year-old teen have been charged with first-degree murder, carjacking, attempted carjacking, among other charges. And that's for their involvement in the shooting and killing of a 53-year-old man. The shooting happened on Saturday, June 17th, around 1 a.m., according to police. Investigators say the 2 suspects approached the victim's car from behind, and as he tried to drive off, the suspects fired shots, killing the victim.
But all of this back and forth violence would lead up to a high-profile incident at the start of 2024, an incident that is once again almost certainly related to the war between PRE, CMG, RR, and True La Mafia, and that's the murder of Yo Gotti's brother, Big Jook. Big Jook was the older brother of Yo Gotti and part owner of CMG the label. Young Dolph and Big Jook have a deep history of disses dating all the way back to 2017. This was during the time when the tension between CMG and PRE was really heating up. In 2017, Young Dolph released the infamous diss track, Play With Yo Bitch. This track is a disrespectful shot at Yo Gotti, where Dolph claims to have had a relationship with the mother of his child. And on the track, referring to Yo Gotti as Ho Gotti numerous times, and even the artwork for the track is a savage take on the situation, roasting Yo Gotti. Big Jook is actually mentioned in the first verse of the track, where Dolph claims that Gotti would front on his big brother, going on to refer to Big Jook as Yo Gotti's big sister. But regardless of the beef between CMG and PRE, or True La Mafia and RR, this track may well have caused Big Jook himself to have personal disdain for Young Dolph, adding to the weight and the rumours that it was actually Big Jook who may well have put out the hit on Young Dolph initially. In an Instagram story, Grove Hero, a comedian affiliated with Dolph's paper route empire, had actually claimed that Big Jook had put out a $40,000 bounty on either himself or possibly Young Dolph.
Heard that little boy Trey say, "Man, I miss my dad, Mom." When I heard that f***ed me up, bro. That f***ed me up. And keep in mind, I said, if I see Jook, if I see Gotti, if I see Migo, or if I see Youngster, I'ma get on that. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else, bro. I said if I see them folk, because these folk had something to do with it, bro. These folk don't know that Jook put a hit out, bro. Don't know this, you know what I'm saying? But nah, f*** all that, bro. I need to say that. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna tell the truth, bro. I ain't say, man, hey, bro, how you gonna feel if a told you, hey, man, look, bro, man, Jook put a $40,000 hit on you, bro. Like, man, come on, bro.
Big Jook has also been pictured with one of the men accused in the plot to kill Dolph, Hernandez Govan, showing a clear affiliation between the two. Furthermore, Big Jook has shared multiple disrespectful videos to his Instagram aimed at Dolph even after his death, with one example being Jook mocking a mural that was painted to memorialize Dolph in Memphis.
I don't paint no bitch beside two real with a in the middle, man. Y'all don't do that, man. Don't up our legacy. So right here, y'all. Two gangsters.
Shortly after Dolph's death, Big Jook also posted to his Instagram story where he can be heard asking certain rappers to hit him up for financial help, saying, "Whoever trying to save their career or shoot a video while the label budget is cut off, we still open, CMG is still open." Jook offering to pay for rappers' studio time and any cars that the rappers are leasing and renting, as well as even advising these rappers to pawn their jewelry if it's real, was likely a shot at Paper Route Empire's remaining roster, suggesting that they might have been struggling after Dolph was murdered.
So, man, hey, y'all. I'm finna start a GoFundMe, man, because I know a lot of you rap up out here, man. Can't do no shows. Ain't save no money. So guess what? I'm gonna come say today. I'm gonna come pay you rent if y'all got somewhere to stay. I'll pay your car note. I'll pay your jewelry note so you won't get repoed. You feel me? Whatever else you renting or leasing, I'm gonna pay this. But when it break back over, I want 10% of what you make. I'm saving you in a crucial time, so don't think I'm trying to get over on you. Cause you don't want to get put out. That'll ruin your career. So just hit my DM, man. We don't put business out there. We ain't that tight. You feel me? We can put it in contract. This will never be talked about. You feel me?
But then, on January the 13th, 2024, Big Jook and Yo Gotti had just attended a funeral service to honor their late uncle, Eric Bovan, who Jook himself actually described as a legendary Memphis kingpin, with Bovan allegedly running a large cocaine operation in Memphis in the 1980s. However, just after they gathered to lay one man to rest, sadly, moments later, another person would lose their life. At around 4:15 p.m, an officer was in the area of 6385 Winchester Road when he heard multiple gunshots outside the Perignon's restaurant and event center. When the officer arrived at the scene, 2 victims were found with several gunshot wounds. Big Jook, real name Anthony Mims, was pronounced dead at the hospital, and a second male victim would be treated in a stable condition.
6:03 is the time, and this morning we continue following developing news out of Hickory Hill, where multiple sources tell Action News 5 that Memphis rapper Yo Gotti's older brother, Anthony Mims, also known as Big Jook, was shot and killed yesterday afternoon while attending a funeral. Memphis police will only say 1 victim died and that another was taken to Regional 1 in critical condition. The deadly ambush happened outside Paragon's an event center near Winchester and Ridgeway. A repast, a meal shared by loved ones after a funeral, was underway when it all happened. Deputy Police Chief Paul Wright says he does not believe this shooting was accidental.
There's no, this is preliminary, so we hadn't developed a connection to that at this time. We do feel like the individual that was shot was possibly targeted by the suspect.
However, there is no suspect information available at this time. Police say they are reviewing video from the scene. Again, sources telling us Anthony Big Jook Mims was shot and killed yesterday in Memphis. Police have not released a motive.
Footage from the scene would also circulate online, including Reddit, with captions saying, "People must still be sliding for Dolph."
Yeah, I sure see him on the land, laying down over there. Huh? Big Jook dead. Yeah, for real? Big Jook. Whoa. Yeah, I see him over there. What is a birthday? What is a repast or a birthday party? Oh, here both ain't repast. That's what they said. Hell no. Yeah, he finna clear the lot now. All right, bro.
If you do not disperse, you may be arrested.
It's finna get ugly, y'all. They killed Gotti's brother. Yeah, they killed Jook. Mine. This Winchester. What did Winchester what? Winchester.
And furthermore, just like what happened to young Dolph, a picture of the body of Big Jook after the murder would even circulate online, but it's far too graphic to show you on YouTube. Witnesses at the scene would claim to have seen multiple suspects in a white SUV, and an image of that car had even been released from CCTV surveillance footage showing the vehicle driving around with its license plates removed. It was alleged that during the funeral, many attendees had noticed 3 men in all black sitting at the back. They apparently left early after they spotted Yo Gotti and Big Jook, with rumours circulating that when they spotted Jook at his car nearby, they had started spraying him with bullets. Rumours had also spread that Yo Gotti's mother might have been inside the car but managed to get away without being hit, but these reports have not been verified. Since the murder, PRE members have been active online mocking the death of Big Jook, further fueling the fire that the killers may have had a connection to Young Dolph and Paper Route Empire. PRE-affiliated comedian Grove Hero would also go on an Instagram Live talking in detail about how happy he was on this day after Big Jook was killed.
What's up with him? You straight, ain't it? Good. Yeah, today a blessed day. Nah, go ahead, it's cool. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, today feel good in the mud. Feel so good outside. Hell yeah, up to man, it's nice today. Hell yeah. Man, I'm loving the breeze. This feels so good. Yeah. Damn, today feel good as hell. Whew. God damn. Man. Whoo. Boy. Today a lovely day, ain't it? Who watching, bro? What you talking about?
I said, play crazy here. You know them people, who watching, bro? What you talking about? What is y'all talking about, bro? The Dolphins won today. Miami Dolphins won today. So tell me about the Dolphins. Did the Dolphins win today? I'm trying to see. Did somebody tell me, is it the NFL championship or what? Did the Miami Dolphins win today? God damn, man. I ain't trying to tell nothing. Real talk, man. Man, let me enjoy this, man. I'm finna lay down, man. All right, real good.
And Reddit detectives would also soon circulate that the same white SUV had possibly been used in another shooting in the days leading up to Big Jook's murder, with one Chiracologist turned Memphis-storian even claiming that the victim of the shooting had actually been the head of security at Yo Gotti's CMG. This was rumoured to have been a man named Marcus Lake, aka Bowleg, who had seemingly died on the very date that that shooting took place. On his social media, Lake can be seen doing security for numerous Memphis artists, including CMG artist Glorilla, as well as promoting CMG members' shows. However, Leak's business partner would make an angry social media post following these rumours, stating that Leak died in his sleep and that nobody had murdered him. He would also highlight that they did security for many Memphis artists, and indeed Leak would also promote Paper Route Empire's events on his social media, amongst those for CMG.
No, but remember all the news that we broke on this channel. So I want this. This is just a rumor. So take this with a grain of salt. He was supposed to be doing security detail.
Hey man, whoever this, tag this bitch ass. Tell this bitch ass keep my brother name out of his motherfucking mouth, man. Yeah, he do security for every motherfucking batter, bro. He do security every motherfucking batter. We don't pick no motherfucking size, man. We ain't with that bull. What's wrong with you? Don't you know, yeah, all these motherfuckers we do security for Memphis. Ain't no motherfucker gave my brother for his funeral. My brother died in peace, in his sleep. Ain't no motherfucker killed. He got a motherfucking ticket to heaven's door. What's wrong with you, man? Find you some business, man. That's why you don't got no watches, man. Find you something else to do, man. Cause that ain't your job right there. That ain't the job. You're a lawyer, you up. You ain't no good lawyer. Keep my brother name out your bro. He rest in peace, man. We don't do that because if anything, Jook would have been alive, man. We protect him. Period. Because everybody respect us, not because we bad, we respect him. And we'll knock a ass down. Because somebody shot my brother, I'll be right now knocking every motherfucker down on both sides. This the motherfucker. Quit playing with me. Quit playing with us about our motherfucker brother. Keep your name, your mouth on shit that you don't know nothing about. That'll get your ass touched to Memphis too, man. Watch your motherfucker mouth.
One commenter seemingly close to the situation would also point out that Leak had passed away before that shooting had taken place. But with a shortage of verified updates about Big Jook's murder investigation, rumours and conspiracy theories have run rampant on the internet. In many of these theories, one name gets repeated frequently: Daddy-O, the elusive and mysterious CEO of Young Dolph's Paper Route empire. Daddy-O, real name Jeremy Moore, is listed as the legal director of Dolph's company, Paper Route Empire LLC, and Young Dolph and him had apparently known each other for a long time, with him actually explaining that he had met Young Dolph playing basketball when he was a child in an interview in Young Dolph's King documentary on WorldStar. He was allegedly the first person who had showed Young Dolph $1 million.
Each other, you know what I'm saying? So everybody like, bro, you need to, bro, go make a song. I got the boo, I'm like, man, make a song. They like, man, you need to do that for real.
Many people consider Daddy-O to have been the one who financed Paper Route Empire in the beginning, helping Dolph with his connections in the streets. And when Dolph was killed, rumours would circulate that Daddy-O would actually be the one who would make sure that Dolph's death didn't go without revenge, and allegedly, the police were looking at him closely.
I keep hearing his name, Daddy-O. I guess he's like another part of the CEO with Pre. It wasn't just Young Dolph. Yeah, Young Dolph was the main person, but it was another guy by the name of Daddy-O. I was told he the guy that got all the respect. I was told that the police is looking at him as being one of the guys who's dropping hits and dropping calls on people out there in Memphis. I don't want to put the police on nobody. I don't want to do none of that shit through these videos, basically, so I hope that ain't how this coming out. I'm just giving you the reports that's surfacing. The police is looking at a guy named Daddy-O. I was told he's one of the main people they looking at, not as far as killing Jook, but as far as being a leader, being a gang leader, having gang ties, being a kingpin, being somebody who could be next on the hit list, being somebody who, you know, the streets won't dead, and also being that guy who could be possibly be one of the guys who has enough respect and enough money that could be dropping bags out here getting people killed. You know, that's what I was told. That Daddy-O is the top suspect that the Memphis police is looking at. Not as far as killing Big Jook, but just being a part of all in the background.
However, there have also been other kinds of conspiracy theories about Daddy-O. For example, in old pictures, he can be seen together with Dolph and J Money, with some suggesting that Daddy-O could also have connections to the Trula Mafia, with some YouTubers speculating on possible motives Daddy-O might have had to have gotten rid of Dolph.
We all heard that Daddy-O was a millionaire before he met Dolph and this and that. People, moms and stuff, were scared of him because he was a big-time hustler, so he invested in young Dolph. When he invested in Dolph, to me, it just seemed like Daddy-O owned everything that Dolph had and obtained in his possession. When nobody knew where Dolph was at, all the times that he was allegedly shot at and shot, who else would know all his exact locations and time? No other than Daddy-O, Key Lock, and those that are around him.
Ultimately, at this stage, it's unclear to say exactly who's responsible, but if there's one thing that's clear, the murder of young Dolph has created a tidal wave of violence that the authorities in Memphis are struggling to keep a lid on. The murder of Yo Gotti's brother Big Jook is just the latest in a long string of attacks, seemingly targeting anyone and everyone who might have been connected to Dolph's murder. I pray that one day the violence in Memphis can end, and people on both sides can put down their guns before more people lose their lives. I hope you found that video interesting, and rest in peace to everyone mentioned in this story who lost their lives far too young.